The Disrupt Education vlog can be found on YouTube. To hear it in podcast form, search Disrupt Education on any of the following podcast platforms: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Spotify, or Stitcher. Welcome to this episode of Disrupt Education. I'm here in Oak Park with Maui Jones.
Hey, how you doing?
Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
You said my name's Kamau Jones, or Maui, as everyone calls me. I am the artistic director of the Echo Theater Collective, based out of Oak Park. I've been in Oak Park since I was in high school. I'm also a bit of a community organizer and activist in the area, so that's me.
Tell us a little bit about then. You know, you were here how many years? 9, you said.
You
went to high school here.
Yeah, I moved into Oak Park my freshman year of high school.
Okay. Tell us about that educational journey that you had.
I was a very good student through grade school, through middle school, and then in high school, when I got to Oak Park, I became a very bad student. I had a tough family life. My mother became a drug addict at the time, and I fell through the cracks.
Right.
You know, and then life got really tough
Right.
from then on, and I just kind of fell through the cracks. There was really not anybody there. So my educational background is I am a high school dropout. Yeah. I still continue to educate myself, however, independently. I went right into the workforce, but I have a voracious reading appetite, and I take in a lot of media, podcasts, movies, film, stage plays, and kind of educated myself that way.
Right. So, what kind of doors have you opened for yourself in that path? Because I mean, you're doing some pretty cool things with community right now. Tell us a little bit about that journey, like after high school. What did that look like for you, and how you took your self-education and then moved yourself forward?
So I kind of floated through life until a few years ago, say about 3-4 years ago, I decided to try and make a change. I was inspired by my mother's journey. So like I said, my mother was a drug addict.
Right.
She went to jail. She went through this program. Thank God for Tom Dart, because Tom Dart believes in that the Cook County jail system is a mental health facility. Right. So he works towards rehabilitation instead of punishment. And so because she went through that sort of holistic programming, it gave her the tools to finally get clean once and for all. And today, my mother works for the Cook County Sheriff's Department. She's 14 years clean. She got the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. She works with, all sorts of luminaries in her field of fighting sex trafficking. And seeing that transformation in my mother, it was amazing. But then here I am. I'm all grown up now. My siblings are all grown up. I have no one to take care of anymore, and I am not doing anything, right? I've just somewhere along the way forgot to dream.
Right.
And so seeing that, I said, okay, how do I do that? How do I take that kind of transformation? How do I inspire myself to become something better than what I have been? So I was working disaster restoration at the time, cleaning up after fires and floods, and I decided after a conversation with my mother that I was going to quit. I was going to find a job in the Loop, a 9 to 5, so that I know what my schedule is every day. And I was going to start working towards things that I always wanted to do. One of those was theater and art and storytelling. So I said, okay, now I'm going to start my own theater company. And I had one false start that I don't really like to talk about because it ended very badly with the person I was working with. But we did it, and we did a production of Fiddler on the Roof that was great. And so even though that ended badly, I was like, yeah, but I did it.
Right.
And now I know that I can do it. So now the next time I do it, it'll be bigger, and it'll be better, and it'll be intentional. So then we started Echo Theater Collective. And when I did that, I said, okay, what do I want what do I want this to be? What's its vision? And I realized that I wanted the vision to be transformative. Just how this journey was transformative for my mother, the journey was transformative for me. I want the journey that Echo goes on to be transformative for the community. So our POV is using art, using storytelling, using theater for social justice, for social awareness, to build community.
Right.
So that's kind of how we became that. And I, brought on some amazing people for our board that kind of helped add to and enhance that vision with their various areas of expertise. Some amazing artistic associates that help us out, and now we just did Blues for Mr. Charlie, which is a James Baldwin play, and we facilitated conversations throughout the community about race and equity, and people really took to it. And so now, looking forward, we're working on children for the rest of the years. Right, so we're doing Free to Be You and Me. And at the same time, we're reaching out to like Blue, the Black Leadership Union, and the local GSA, E-Team, and getting all of these organizations to help us create something really special, not just for the kids, but also for the adults. Not only to teach the kids that they have a voice, but also to teach the parents that their children have a voice. Right. So that's really exciting. Working on more of the social and emotional education that the community needs, that I think enhances the traditional education that they get in the schools.
And we had this conversation before the interview about how you're taking theater and not just building oneself, but building a community around it, and teaching people through it, which is very interesting to me, because not being a person from theater, I've never heard of it that way. That's kind of a new thing. So I hear a lot of inspiration, a lot of failure, and a lot of like cyclical, okay, I'm going to start here, I'm going to go around, okay, we did it once, this didn't work, that worked, and continuing forward. With that being said, and in addition to your path in high school, going from good student to what you would consider a bad student, what would you change? What in a traditional system would you or could you change that you, if you could go back to see how Maui would do better in that high school? Would there be something that would be different?
There'd be so many things that would be different. I could say 100 different things. I think, though, that the number one thing that I wish that was different was that there were people that truly listened and saw me. So often I think we reduce people to categories and just kind of like, okay, you're a troubled black youth, so here you are. You're on this list. And that's who you are. That's your identity. But everyone's identity is complex and multi-layered, and should be truly seen and understood. If you don't do that, if you don't take the time to actually connect to the children that you are serving, and make no mistake, teachers and administrators are there to serve, right? To lead is to serve, as we mentioned in our earlier conversation. Then you don't understand their needs, and ultimately, I think you will potentially fail those kids, especially those that have stories different from yours. It's real easy to listen to somebody who has a like background.
Right.
But what about the kid that has a completely different background than you? Maybe you don't know how to deal with the kid who's going through a mother battling with drug addiction. Maybe you don't know how to communicate with the kid who is still trying to find out what their identity is. That is trying to navigate a world that's not built for them. So I think just like that, kind of empathic teaching path, I think is really important. The only other thing I would say is, and this kind of still falls within the category of listening, is also don't force kids to learn things they don't want to learn. Like, I think that they listen to what their passions are, right, and teach them that, right. So, okay, you have zero interest in this math class, but you were really responding to this theater class, but we don't value that. So we're just going to force you to do the math, as much as possible, instead of facilitating the thing that they love, that maybe you could get them further ahead on that. You know, I think that those two things would be the things. You know, so listening and letting kids, you know, chart their own path, especially as they get older.
Right.
As we get older, we should have more ownership. Lead up to the ownership, right? Yeah. It'll be like, you're 18, now you're in charge of your life. I know that we haven't let you make any decision up until now, but
you have to decide on a college that you need to go to and drop a bunch of money on, but we really haven't taught you anything else.
Right.
It is funny, like when we have these conversations where the realities come out. If you could tell a 17-year-old Maui something, if you could go, and I hate going back because no one's going that way, but let's say there's a 16, 17-year-old young person that is very much like yourself. What would you tell that kid?
I would tell that kid that the pain that you are going through will pay dividends later. The pain that you are going through will potentially help many others on their journey. So, like, you know, it is a necessary pain that you need to go through so that you can have the tools and the story to potentially transform lives.
Where can people find you online? Where can people find the theater?
So we have echotheatercollective.org. We have our Facebook page, our Instagram page. You can find me on Facebook, just Maui Jones, and anybody can friend me. I'm all about community. You can find me every third Saturday at the library with Zingela Owazi, which is a local reading initiative we have. It's designed for young men of color, though our doors are open to everyone, of course. And you can find me around the neighborhood advocating wherever I can.
Right. Maui, appreciate it.
Thank you so
much for sharing your insights and your journey. We look to do some big things with theater. I don't know, our vision's kind of lined up today. So, true disruptor of education. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.